Let's move on to our next session then. And this session would be an interesting discussion on diving deeper into how contactless technologies are transforming the public sector. So this session will be between Waqas Ahmad, the Digital Transformation Advisor for the government sector in Saudi, and also Mohammad Ali Shalan, the Head of Technology of Akarat Real Estate Development KSA. And just a little bit of an intro for Mohammad Shalan. So Mohammad Shalan is the editor of a book titled Innovative and Agile Contracting for Digital Transformation and Industry 4.0. So that is published by the IGI Global in 2021. So he's a bilingual, multidiscipline, motivated business technology interpreter, and he's a practitioner, author, guest speaker, and researcher with published chapters, articles, and presentations. So he's well certified and connected with 9 professional certifications, active membership in 6 well-recognized professional organizations, and has attended distinguished training classes in over 16 countries. So he has worked on major operational assignments, portfolios, programs, and also projects spanning in more than 50 countries. And his assignments include distributed activities, numerous dependencies, heavy correspondences, multiple vendors, and also multidiscipline contractors. And currently, Mohammad Shalan is the head of technology at Akarat Real Estate Development company in Saudi Arabia, and volunteering as the digital transformation director for the Saudi chapter of Project Management Institute, PMI. Is there anything else you would like to add, Mohammad?
No, thank you very much. It's a good introduction, actually, and I hope I can add value to our audiences. Actually, that's what I'm aiming to.
Of course, sure. Okay, yes, I see Waqas over here. Let me promote him, and then we can kickstart the discussion. Then, yeah. Hi, Waqas. Welcome back. Good to see you again.
Hey, Marcus. Yeah, sorry, it's been very difficult to jump between the meeting.
No worries, totally understand it. Thank you again. Appreciate your time and effort for this. And yes, I will let the both of you carry on with the conversation and discussion then. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you doing, Mr. Waqas? Good. Nice to be talking to you. Discuss.
Same here, actually. Yeah, it's very nice to see you, actually.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, we are discussing a very important topic. I hope we can add value to our audiences.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, so I think we need to start with you because you are expert in government activities. So we need to see actually how you are going with this contactless issues in the government first, then before we go to other topics.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll start from here. I mean, contactless technologies are there from long time. We are working with them since long time. But really COVID actually pushed us to accelerate the adoption of the contactless technologies in many ways. I'll start it, let's say, from the access control or the attendance system. That was the very first initiative that was taken, and then now we are moving forward with many other things, including the smart buildings, which include your interaction with the building itself. I mean, having the building seamlessly connected and interacted with your mobile phones, with your apps like temperature control and different other stuff going on, meeting room booking, coffee shop coffee machine interaction, facial recognition, all these things. I mean, it's a complete journey that everyone is passing through, but the only difference is that, I mean, at different organizations, the use cases are being implemented at different stages, but it's going on, I mean.
Yes, really, it's going on. And I mean, from my experience in part of smart cities, for example, and what we are doing, there is a lot of cities now currently who are trying to have a resiliency layer so that everything is coming into contactless. Even, for example, I see in London, for example, there is a lot of increase in even the public transportation using contactless technologies, including the phones, including a lot of activities. So this is the trend. I think this is trend. Now it is started, and it was triggered by this COVID, not triggered by, but it was accelerated by COVID-19. But at the same time, I think it's here, it's there to continue. So once it started, when it's triggered, everyone is looking in how we can expose this and how we can increase this. And we have a lot of use cases where people are using this. And one of them is being for the government, for example, is the digital identity. Here in Saudi Arabia, we are using a lot of digital identities coming now. You have this Tawakkalna or other applications, and you have option on your mobile. So every country is looking like, instead of having your identity into you have to in your pocket and you need to pull it every time, then it's okay. We are here. This is the digital identity, and it can be seen on your mobile or even in your face with some biometrics. So actually, yes, we are here, and everything is changing. And I think it's, yes, it's accelerated too much. We see this a lot of statistics, and as well, it's there to continue actually and to advance. And we see a lot of potential. Maybe this COVID-19 have slowed down a lot of activities, but for technology activities, for contactless activities, no, actually it's increasing, and we see a lot of growth. Yes, Wakas, do you see this growth also as well?
I mean, as someone said that during the COVID, the innovation is done like it is done for the next 5 to 7 years. That was acceleration, especially last year during the COVID. How did COVID push all of us to move forward with innovative solutions? And yes, I agree with you. I mean, if you see the yesterday's news in Saudi Arabia, Sadaya has said that Tawakkalna will be used as a first ever digital passport for the Saudis. So it's a very big achievement that Tawakkalna application will now behave not only as a COVID passport, COVID travel passport for everyone in Saudi, including Muqim and Mawatan, but also yesterday they declared that Tawakkalna will be used as a first ever digital passport uh, for the Saudis itself. So yes, these contactless stuff is going on. I mean, all over the world, not only in the Middle East, and most importantly, since you know the need is a mother of invention. I mean, as said, we saw the very much examples from Manasati when the Ministry of Education has make sure that no children will. I mean, there is no delay in their education, and they launch without any hassle the Manasati platform, and children will enrolled in the schools, and they give it to everyone, including the public schools, including private schools and community schools and everyone. Yeah, so things are moving forward. I mean, in a very rapid pace, especially on the contactless part.
Yes, you are right, actually, and see, we see this actually all as well in smart buildings, where we have a lot of, like, the valves are becoming now contactless, the doors, the toilets, even. So the dryers, everyone is moving into this, and it's really going amazing, and a lot of activities are going on, and we see it everywhere actually. And also we need that, it's gaining a lot of trust from the people as well from the government officials, and this is very important, I think, because usually as a technology people, we always facing the issue of the how to show the value for the business people, for the officials, for the government people, about what we are doing. But this COVID-19 actually is doing this in a way that it's really amazing. One thing that we never see here in Saudi Arabia, or we never even think about, is the hearing, the court hearing. The court hearing now is done over Zoom or other platforms. It's online. It's done online. So when you see that the judge will accept to see people online and to listen to them and to hear to them and take decisions, which is very important decisions based on that, it is really something that we never imagine it will happen. And it happens slowly overnight, because if everyone have something locked down, and he have to find a way to continue his business. So it's really for technology people, there was a lot of activities that's done by digital transformation, by COVID as well. It's accelerated. Similarly, I recall actually, because before 100 years, for example, when we are talking about smart cities and this, there's a lot of standards that was done for smart cities is out of the previous pandemic that was actually in 1918, which is Spanish influenza. So actually, it was accelerating a lot of activities in terms of how we regulate countries, how we make sanitization, we how do a lot of things. Now this is also happening in different way, and also always I say actually, The Industry 4 actually, or digital transformation, is adding the soul to the muscles that have been done into the previous three industrial revolutions. So now we are like blurring the lines between physical and digital. We are adding a lot of layer like a soul or like a life to the muscles that we have been using for since a long time. So now it's like we are coming up to a milestone in the journey, how we can see and how we are doing this. What do you think, Awqas?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, moving forward with your point, I think one of the main pillar for all this is if we will not say at all, but at least it has a major contribution is 5G technology. 5G has really paved the way to move forward with the speed of internet and the connectivity that it provides, and then cloud, of course. Cloud has played a major role in in all this innovation. When you have a nearshore data centers and without any further delays in acquiring the hardware, you can just deploy your solutions and your platforms into a cloud. I will also add one more point here that specifically when we saw in Saudi Arabia, the private sector also played a very vital role in the contactless adoption. I will give an example, and I used it very frequently last year during the COVID. I was COVID positive last year. Alhamdulillah, I recovered from it. And during I was thank you so much. And during that time, I was interacting with my doctors in Salman Habib Hospital over the video calls. I mean, that was very great opportunity to see the doctor and to interact with them without any time, and to stay in the lines, and you have to go through the. I was in quarantine. I can't go outside my home, but I was able to communicate with my doctors, and I was taking their advices. So yeah, I mean, the private sector is also playing a major role. And you rightly said that Industry 4.0 is also revolutionizing the whole journey together with other building blocks like IoTs and all other wireless devices, including the 5G technology together with blockchain and digital twins. All these things are moving forward hand in hand, and creating a good foundation for us and for our upcoming generations to go completely contactless in a way or another. Yeah.
Yes, great. Actually, you touch point on one very important thing that maybe I can also add some sense in that is actually what are the drivers for the contactless economy. Maybe you have touched like for the 5G connectivity, and that we are having a lot of connectivity everywhere. So it's easy to utilize this kind of technology and to be connected everywhere. Also, I think there is one more thing is about our hyper awareness of health and safety, because people now is very cautious about how to utilize the tools that they are using and where to go, how to go. Actually, there is a lot of things have been changed. For example, when you meet with someone, usually you will have not a face-to-face. Usually, everyone is avoiding crowds. Everyone is avoiding to be face-to-face in another one. So this is actually everyone is care about his health and his safety, and this is one of the major drivers, I think, for this contactless. Also, I think the rise of the new cloud narrative-enabled technologies, because as you said, actually, we have a lot of technology that's coming, and everyone is coming to think about how I can utilize a technology and build a solution around it. And this digital transformation actually enabled everyone to have a solution, not a big company only, but a big company, a small company, any provider. Actually, we have a kind of what's called gig economy as well, in addition to the contactless economy. So everyone can have an application, and he can drive and run it for the business. One interesting case, actually, I see it's in London. It was that in some government offices, what they are doing, instead of having one employee who are distributing the parcels inside between the employees, they just put it into like a cupboard, it's a safe, and this safe actually will have to send an email to this guy. Okay, you have some parcel in the room, and then he will come and pick it directly from, based on his biomedical information. He can go open the safe in this location on this room, and then he can collect his parcel. So this is amazing that how people are thinking and finding any solution to have. Also, maybe I can add about the digital enabled consumer, the consumer now, and we see it actually. A lot of people will purchase online and then they go to the office to pick up their equipment from the any location or have it delivered to them. So even the people themselves are changing too much. We have a lot of platforms coming, and the human interface is totally different. So I think these like a kind of drivers that are driving the contactless economy and promoting it more and more. I think there will be a lot of innovations, a lot of ideas that is coming and generated day by day. What do you think, Waqas, about this? Do you have other drivers?
Absolutely. One more thing which I will add here to your discussion is that both government, I mean, public sector and private sector, they have realized that it's a need of the time. And the innovation which is going on is perfectly on the path of having a customer-centric solutions. They are incorporating the feedback from the customer. They are creating the customer journey maps. Even I was engaged in some consulting projects. I saw that even the governments are now willing to pay millions of dollars on adopting a platform that will give them a real-time customer behavior analytics apart from a surveillance point of view. I mean, in a positive way, if you take it, governments are doing these things, and even the private sector is implementing such, I mean, costly platforms to gather the feedback and to make sure that they are going with a customer-centric approach. Uh, and as you rightly mentioned that consumers have adopted. They realize that they can go one step further. It's not about technology is not very difficult. It's easy to adopt. Companies have realized that if they offer a best customer experience, people will come and adopt without having any big hassles. We saw it even in Saudi Arabia. You can witness that one with Tawakkalna. I mean, there is no life now without Tawakkalna. You can get into any malls or anywhere. Even low wage labor that resides in Saudi, they know how to operate all these things. So here it comes. The drives both. I mean, the consumer was a driver as well as the need was a driver. Market push was a driver. A trend was a driver for all these innovations. So it comes a full, kind of an ecosystem or a push comes for everyone uh, to move forward.
Yes, actually, they are true. And the good thing actually in governments now is the mindset is totally shifting. And what we see actually in here and as well in other countries is that even the things that is not done by in contactless manner, now it's at least they have a lot of activities done on the portal or something like this. So a lot of preparations are done, and only the physical work is done physically. So for example, when you are going for a building inspection, this building inspection, usually there will be a lot, you have to visit the authority and then you have to register and you have to, they assign someone to you. So usually you will take like 3-4 visits before you assign someone so that he will come and inspect your building or something like this. Today, all these activities actually, you can put the location of your building, you can do a lot of paperwork, you can register yourself, you can identify all the information, and what is left only is just to have this guy to come to your, or the official man to come to your office and to make the inspection as per the requirements. If you are asking for a building permit or you're asking for any kind of permit that will require physical attendance, and it's only this part is done physically. All other parts are done on the portal or something like this. So this is saving a lot of time from the people, and it's saving a lot of activities. So it's really, this is the mind shift actually. And people think that everything can be automated. Let's automate it. And then let's leave the small part that cannot be automated in this. And this is very, very important thing that we never imagine actually it will happen like this. So we call it like it's a frictionless environment now, and you don't have to talk to people too much. It's you have a lot of tools that will help you this. Even if you know actually for checks, for example, here some banks in Saudi Arabia start to testing, at least if they're not promoted yet, is to have, if you have a check, for example, you can put it in the machine and then you can get the money out of the machine immediately if it's validated. So in this, actually, you don't need to visit a bank for this activity, which usually people use to visit the bank for this activity so that they get money. But now, even this activity is, they have a solution for it, and we have a lot of solutions coming day by day, as I see. How do you see, Waqas?
Absolutely. And I think one more aspect that we should mention here is the RPA. RPA is also helping people to get rid of the manual work, which was earlier taking time. Now, RPA is not on the front end. RPA is all, I mean, kind of a back end stuff which is going on, but it will really help, I mean, people not to take the manual work done, and it's been, in place system to system, and to avoid the physical interaction with the people, even in the backend systems, to overcome the integration challenges that are there within the companies. And I think one of the good news is that few days ago, the Saudi cabinet approved a new bank. It's STC Bank. And I'm just waiting for the details coming out of it from the STC Bank, and what kind of innovation they will bring, because they are there as a fintech platform, the first fintech platform in Saudi with as STC Pay, and now they're going to be a STC Bank. And let's see what kind of innovation they will bring in to the market and to offer to the people. I mean, it's all about financial inclusion and the social norms that you build around the people when you are interacting with them around you. So yeah, it's another way of moving forward with the contactless technologies. And by the way, there are multiple definitions for the smart. When we say it's a smart, once upon a time, Rome was considered as a smart city. They have done a very nice irrigation plans. Similarly, once upon a time, Cairo or the pyramids of Egypt was considered to be a smart city. So it depends how and what kind of challenges you have that you are trying to solve with or without technology, or with the technology that is in place at that time. And there are certain levels, I don't want to go into details, but smartness is there. It's all about solving the challenges that for your customers, for your citizens, in a seamless way, to make them happy, to interact with them, to understand their needs, to understand their problems, and then solving it in a right way.
Yes, you
So
are truly this. Okay. You truly said this actually, because what we are talking today is about the definition of a smart city is elaborating definition. You cannot have a definition that's today and it will sustain for tomorrow and for every day. And usually for smart cities, out of this pandemic, actually, you are talking about the resilient city even. The resilient city meaning that we have to put our districts in the city so that all the services are concentrated in somehow that in case there is a lockdown, instead of looking down the whole city, you can look down certain areas, and at the same time, if you look this area or this district, also you can find a lot of services that's coming in and out in smart ways. So really, this is very important thing that we see it. And even when we talk about STC Bank, actually, yes, it is. We have seen a lot of, for example, Apple is trying to have Apple Pay and something like this. Now we have STC, and so there is a lot of activities that we are expecting to see. Even you pay by your mobile, you pay by the war you watch or something like this. So it's totally changing the whole mechanism and the whole thinking that we are doing. Yes, you are right in that.
absolutely. So if we move forward with our topic as well, smart governments, and I think it's covering the same thing that what we are discussing, you and me right now, that how governments are becoming smart by deploying their backend big data architecture, and based on it, everyone is realizing that. Especially, it's true for the Middle East. By the way, there is a saying for the Middle East or in general that, as we say that. Um, uh, Petrol is a black gold. I mean, oil is a black gold. So we can rightly say that data is a digital gold right now, which is paving the way for the governments to be smart. And governments are deploying big data architecture from covering different channels, employing the omni-channel architectures, and then getting all the data, and then going to be a true data-driven organizations, whether it's Sadaya, it's MOI, it's any other ministry, just name it. And I'm sure the Ministry of Justice is doing the same thing. They have done a very huge digital transformation across their a ministry and completely revolutionize the whole ministry offerings. Similarly, other ministries and private sector is doing and going to be a smart with their offerings. There are use cases everyone has identified, and now they are finding the right time to implement them in a phased approach. Everyone is going with that, and it's been a mandate for everyone to go to comply with the Vision 2030 put in by the Saudi government, that everyone have to be in a digital, to be a digital, contribute in a digital economy, going away from the oil-based economy to move forward with the service-based economy or digital economy. And there are a lot of initiatives also going on. However, I still see that there are certain challenges that we may see around us, like regulations. Regulations are very important to be in place when you are going with adoption, like cloud adoption, like blockchain adoption, cryptocurrencies, drones itself, self-driving cars, for example. Um, and many other technologies. So, I mean, being a smart government, as any government, you have to highlight the regulations, governance framework, adoption parameters, and the timelines for it. Um, I want to learn from you and to discuss with you that based on the topics that are in front of us for self-driving cars and robocops and all these things, how do you see where is specifically where is the Saudi market is going on?
Well, I think the Saudi market will be moving on this, maybe in when the new cities like Neom and other cities that's coming actually. So these technologies will be used there. But what we touch on is about the regulation part for other than these cities like big cities or smart cities. Yes, we have something in regulation. And that's why, for example, I discuss among my book actually about the innovative contracting. It's similar like this actually, how you build a contract with your all contractors who are doing and providing this kind of service, and how you are regulating this in governments. Because what we see here, in not in here in Saudi only, but in every country, that it's the time to put regulations for this innovation. But at the same time, actually, the government cannot lead in this because there is a lot of companies who are coming, and you see every company is trying to put new regulations. So it's a kind of agile from framing for these controls and for these regulation. And this is the like the difficult and easy part is to how we can regulate all these things, because we are, for example, IoT. We are using a lot of IoT devices everywhere, and these should be regulated, so that because they are either using certain frequencies or using certain tools, or maybe it misused somehow. So there is kind of frameworks that's being discussed everywhere actually. And there's, for example, there's an initiative in here in Saudi Arabia. There is another initiative in Jordan, for example. There are other initiatives everywhere to put regulations. But the regulators, maybe when we talk about digital transformation in general, we see that technology is the first thing to change. Then we see the other activities, and we see the last activity to change actually is the regulation. So typically you cannot put regulations in advance, because if you put regulation in advance, then you will kill the innovation. So it's a kind of how we can put some kind of steering committees or advisory boards between the governments and the public sector and private sector innovators, so that these guys are trying to minimize the risk out of these issues, at the same time maximizing the value and not putting certain or blocking the innovation, certain boundaries to block the innovation. And in here, what we see here, for example, the smart cities that's coming here in Saudi Arabia, a lot of innovations are coming out of this. And also there is a discussion about some regulations. Maybe inside these smart cities to be easy to regulate somehow, but later on when you put these into the main cities, when you put it into every location, then of course you need a lot of regulations. As well, you need some technologies on the ground. So for example, when you are talking about smart parking, okay, you can talk about smart parking, but at the same time, you have to have your streets ready for this at certain locations. This is what's happening, but I think it will start with the smart cities that's being built, first of all, because there is a lot of innovation coming, and later on, maybe it will come to normal cities. So that's why we say smart city will start with the smart districts, then it will continue to move here and there, because it's, as I said, actually, it's easy to regulate within these cities, but when you go outside, then of course there is a lot of challenges that you need to tackle and handle. How do
Yeah,
you
I mean,
see this?
very, very good point about the regulations, that regulations initially may kill the innovation. You are absolutely right. I got your point. But at the same time, I would see that people may be reluctant to go and do something. They can do some POCs. They can show it to the authorities that look, we have done these things, and what do you see how we can move forward. For example, I was expecting, I mean, I will not name any company, but I was expecting that there is a huge potential in Saudi Arabia for self-driving cars. Maybe some of the companies are doing the POCs or MVPs on top of self-driving cars apart from Neom, but I can still see personally a potential for self-driving cars being used by many companies, and it's a huge potential in Saudi for self-driving cars. But I don't know. I mean, who's working on it, and regulations are there or not? I have no idea about it. I never heard of those regulations or guidelines. Similarly, if we talk about Robocops, so uh, Saudi is moving forward. Maybe not with Robocops. Robocops is there in Dubai. We saw it on Dubai airport. There is a robot, guiding the people and moving forward with it. But we saw equivalent example here in Saudi when a few days ago there is a robot launched in the holy mosque of Mecca, where the robot is dispatching the Zamzam bottles to the people. It's completely recognizing the face and moving forward. And same robot can be used to guide the people during the COVID SOPs to make sure that there is a social distancing and all these things, and controlling the crowd itself in the holy mosque from surveillance point of view. But robocops are, I mean, could be a very big topic that can be discussed apart from the military robots that can be deployed. Similar robots can be deployed across the malls to do surveillance and to make the things smooth. So, do you see any use cases around you? Because honestly, I don't see much use cases, or even I didn't heard such innovations going on around us.
No, actually, I see it also as yes, as I said, as you said, it's like in closed areas. It's not coming to open areas, because when it's coming to open areas, of course, there is a kind of regulation, and you need also to predict how the behavior will be of people. If there is a new enough cameras, for example, enough guidelines to manage it. So in case you need to put in public areas, if, of course, I think it will not be easy. It will need a lot of preparations. So first of all, it needs to be tested in closed areas. And after that, also, you need a lot of preparations so that to put it inside the main cities or something like this. I think it will be used in a lot of some kind of festivals, closed areas, historical locations, this kind of places. But I don't see now it will be ready to be to be inside the public big cities or public areas. Maybe later on, I think it can be for delivery, because, for example, not in here, but in Domino's Pizza, for example, are providing delivery for this kind, either through drones or through driverless cars or something like this. But it's all as well, it need to be controlled into certain areas. It cannot be publicly opened everywhere, because there is still a lot of limitations, and there is not enough regulation, and there is not enough controls even. So that in case you have to prepare the infrastructure very well to this. But the good issue is that everyone now, every real estate developer, and I'm working for a real estate developer actually, is thinking about how they will provide this kind of infrastructure the new for the new actually cities or districts that they are building. So everyone is thinking about it, and one of the things that they are thinking about is the how to manage the cascading of this innovation inside there, and how to manage their contractors and subcontractors. So because it's really a big story, how to manage this kind of information in addition to regulation. But the good thing is that everyone is thinking about it, so it will be for after some time, it will be a reality. Of course, it will be a reality.
Let me ask you another question here on these things. Do you think that we in this in Middle East, especially where we are sitting right now, do we have good capabilities available? Partners are available to implement such use cases. Um, the expertise are available in our area to move forward on a bigger scale to be implemented across the board. do we have expertise? You rightly mentioned infrastructure, which is one of the point actually I was trying to raise earlier. But what about the expertise and capabilities to launch such things?
Well, the expertise we have some researchers working on this. We have some universities working on this. But when you are coming to the you see the technology itself, there is some people who are leading in certain areas, but of course they will need additional support from outside so that they will have some kind of manufacturing and all these, because we don't, for example, manufacture sensors. So the sensor is very important for this. We are good in software issues. We have a lot of people who are thinking of how to provide the software for these kind, and also in the putting the use case. So a lot of people, when you said, for example, Zamzam or something like this, yes, we are good in putting the use case. We are good in terms of software, but of course, of hardware, we will require some kind of support from people who are providing that kind of software. And what's good issue actually is that we see the big providers like Intel, everyone is coming and putting this kind of technologies inside their chips inside everywhere. So I think by some time you will find a lot of technology that's coming to be smart by itself. So it will be easy to adapt. But of course, we need some kind of support for this kind of hardware. For software, and we have a lot of people who are capable to innovate and to generate very good ideas.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, very nice to know your thoughts on this part. And moving forward, how about the other 2 points that are there regarding the tech taxi and smart guidance? I think the tech taxi kind of stuff is already been in place at multiple levels with avatars and temperature check stuff. Thermal cameras are installed. Contactless, kind of kiosk are being deployed at many places across Middle East and Saudi, and I think in Dubai as well, where you can also do the language translation. I mean, it's a real-time translation being connected with backend NLP engines are in place. This could be one of the, I think, a good use case that we can discuss, and I think it's already available on scale across the Middle East. But how do you see? I will continue with you on both topics for smart guidance as well. I mean, putting the mixed reality or augmented reality, and now it's a new thing called XR. I mean, extended reality kind of stuff. Sorry. How do you see these things in place on scale? I mean, we can see certain use cases in manufacturing, for example. I can share with you my knowledge information. For example, Aramco is using AR-based technologies for the maintenance, for training their maintenance staff for the oil wells and pipelines and all these things. Maybe some health sector is also using AR technologies to train the students how to perform the surgery on the critical areas of the body. But again, those are limited use cases we see here.
Yes, actually, yes. In this, we see a lot of technologies coming actually for this VR and something, and we see it in building, for example, because in the buildings or in the streets, when you design, usually we have a lot of conflict between the civil engineers, mechanical engineers, and all these kind who are putting infrastructure inside. So what's coming on even for the big cities? Still, there's some cities here limited are working on to have this in kind for every city design. So inside the design, they are putting all the pipes and everything, so that when, for example, you are coming for a new storm excavations or something like this, then you can find what if there's a telephone line here or there's a power line here or something like this, and you can see it in real time, because the issue usually you put it in papers, but this paper usually it's changed while you are implementing. So what part of the use case actually is you can have a kind of drones that's coming and making this kind real time. So every time there is what you are laying a cable, you are making new things, then it's making a kind of real time and as built infrastructure, and this as built is manipulated somehow, and you record it, and then you put it into a virtual reality or something like this. And in this is adding a lot of activities, either at the level of the cities as well as at the level of big buildings or something like this. And it's yes, you see a lot of people and a lot of offices here, design offices and something like this, they are using this technology currently. Of course, it will depend on the customer, because if the customer is not able to pay, for example, this amount of money, or he don't see the value for it, they will not be able to adopt. But the offices, the engineering offices here, yes, there's a lot of engineering offices who are promoting this, and I have seen this a lot of even before, in 2 years, 3 years, it was there, and some people, some offices from everywhere coming to sell this kind of technology, and people are happy with this technology. And one more thing, actually, for the design, when you design a building for someone, or you design a home for some villa or something, some people will think, okay, I cannot see the value of what you are proposing on papers. And that's why they need to have everything on this kind of reality, virtual reality, so they can see it as if it is built really. So this is really coming, and I see it's a lot of value in this. So Qas, I think also on this, maybe we can put some information about for the people, the audiences, on what are the technologies that we are using for contactless. We are saying that we are building a contactless. So what kind of technologies we are using, and are we using this kind of technology just because we need, it's a fun to use the technology, or we have real use cases, and every case we'll think about it, we'll see what are the emerging technologies there and how we can build. For example, if you have something from your use cases that you have work on.
Yeah, so again, it's not only about just doing the technology for the sake of technology, but as I mentioned, that everyone is realizing that solutions should be customer centric. I mean, to solve the real needs and real challenges of the people, going contactless, and AR or VR or XR or MR, or I mean, all such kind of technologies available. It's up to you. I mean, how you deploy and how you understand and how you present the solution itself, and what is the need you are targeting. For me, I see that one, especially in the hospitality sector, it has a massive potential during the COVID, or even before COVID or post COVID, to experience for example, any tourism places using these technologies on your phone, even without having any device on your head like HoloLens or Oculus. It's not needed. You can still do the same experience with your phones, and Apple and other companies are providing the full SDKs to build immersive experience and to experience these things. I mean, similarly, manufacturing is another industry where these technologies will really help to creating the prototypes, and to imagine the prototypes, and to discuss, and to see how these prototypes will interact with other touch points, and doing some tests. This can be also used in the airline industry. I mean, to design a new aircraft or to improve the models of the current aircraft. These technologies can really help. And training is, as I mentioned earlier, training is one of the prospects that will cover many industries, regardless of their industry vertical. That will really help in creating or mimicking the experience that may require you to physically be present on a certain place, by going with, for example, learn. Let me put you an example for Baladi, or for physical visit for the Difa Madani in Saudi, for the to go and visit the buildings, and how to learn and how to see those buildings. You can still mimic that experience in these technologies, and you don't need to be physically present there, and you can still learn how to do all these inspections, and do the scoring and create all these things. So there is a huge potential out there by using these technologies.
Yes, and I think we need to touch also for the audiences to something related to the return on investment. When we are talking about we are using contactless, we have a lot of value, we have adding a lot of the fun things and good things, and there is a good business value. But what about the return on investment? Are we, for example, getting good money out of this, or and we are just spending a lot of money and then we are not getting the expectation that we need? So what do you see? Do you have some real cases or some studies about the return on investments?
Absolutely. It depends, Mohammed. So, for example, what kind of target you are putting Let's say for the governments, it will be more about reputation and moving forward with their innovation index up, or their digitalization KPIs that are given to them by Vision 2030, or their own internal, stuff. But on the other hand, yes, there are business models that you can employ, and you can go with a different kind of business models with such things, including sharing the revenue with people, or going with the platform business model, or freemium kind of stuff. And you can see your ROI coming maybe in 2 to 3 years time, or maybe less. Again, it depends on how did you design your business model. Of course, no business can survive without money. So at the end of the day, you have to generate some revenue to at least bear the expenses of your own business. I mean, uh, I will just highlight one more point here that will be important. The good thing is that even in UAE, Saudi Arabia, in all other countries, there are incubation plans. There are incubators that are helping the startups to clearly articulate what they are trying to do, what would be their business model, helping them securing the seed fundings and the capitals, and then trying to help them with a sustainable business model so they can earn money at least in a 6 months to 1.5 year or 2 years time frame, to at least start bearing the expenses of the company itself, and then they can, moving forward with it. And we saw a lot of examples. If you see souk.com was very famous example in front of us. When the e-commerce boom comes into Middle East, they started from UAE, Egypt, Saudi, Jordan, and now they are acquired by Amazon. They have employed a very nice model. You can also see there is another e-commerce platform which has been recently acquired a very big, I think, $100 million funding, if I'm not wrong. The very famous grocery platform. I'm just forgetting their name. So it depends on your business model. You see how the meals, apps, meals ordering apps like Hunger Station, and how are they employing their business model? Marsool comes with a very different idea, and they are earning money. So uh, innovation is there, mindset is there. The only thing is that how do you want to proceed, and who are you targeting, and what type of business model you want to put, considering the needs of the market itself, considering the people and their purchasing power, um, um, the scalability of the technology itself, and then you can plan out your ROI. And since you are also from the same background and myself, there are innovation calculators available online that you can put up your whole plans, you can put up your capital, you can put up your expenses, your salaries, and all these things. And within simple Excel file, you can calculate that, okay, up till 6 months or 1 year time, your ROI will be started coming out of it. And you can even discuss and take some advices from some financial advisors to move forward with it.
Yes, actually, you're right in this, because this innovation calculation actually is very important, and calculators, it's really very important, because everyone is looking at, okay, I'm spending a lot of money, but shall I get my money back? And usually, yes, you will be able to get your money back. And for example, for the very simple, let's say, example that I talk about, this company and or this government agency in the UK, who bought a kind of lockers for, instead of having the 1 or 2 employees distributing parcels among the, so they were able actually to recover their return on investment very soon. Actually, it's in 1 year, or even in less than 1 year, they were able to put all these kind of investment. And what's important in here, and what people need to think, especially the governments, is then a kind of public-private partnership. And in this part, BBT, actually, you will find that some companies can have, if you have a use case and you have something, they will come to you, they will deploy the full solution for you, and then they will operate it for a few years. And we see this actually in a lot of things. And we see it in Sahar, we see it in every location, and it's coming now for this. So the governments, especially the governments and even the public sector, can benefit from this kind of partnership. Instead of putting your money, you have someone who will build the solution for you, and he can do it for you. Because this is, I see it as a winning business case, because most of the technology, unless there is a kind of something that's not going well, but usually most of these cases are winning cases, because people are looking for technology. technology is there to help, and the technology is robust. So you can rely on technology, and you find a lot of sensors. And the beauty actually in this, you will find a lot of emerging technologies. So when you study your case, you will go into this kind of all the innovative technologies or all the emerging technologies there. You will find some technologies that will serve you. But what is the most important thing is how you build your business model so that you get your money back, as well how you run your operation to have a stable environment. And we see actually some companies now like this, a lot of innovators, like for example, Robocops or something like this, they are coming and they have a business model with them. And after that, when you save the cost for the driver or when serving this, you are doing a lot of business, and as well you are reducing the risk. So sometimes from our experience in real estate, usually it's applied here. Instead, for example, you have when you are calculating the bill of quantities for excavations or for some big projects, and instead of doing this by surveyors on ground, you can put some kind of drones, or even on commercial flights, they put some machines and then they calculate it exactly. So instead of you have putting a lot of surveyors working for several days, and sometimes it's risky places, mountains or edges or something like this, and in sand and heat, then you can do this automatically. So this is very important, and you will find a lot of people trying to partnership with you, to come with you. But the most important thing, and my advice actually to everyone, is that you study the business case, you study your partner, how the model will be. So in this, actually, you will need some sense of to study it well. You have sometimes some people who are expert in that or this issue. So you need to study it very well, but it's rewarding. I see it's rewarding in many cases, simple cases as well. In big cases, it's rewarding. How you see that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, especially for the smart government, technology is there, solutions are there. Faster time to market, the key to faster time to market is the public-private partnership. You will win. Because if government will try to do everything by themselves, they requires a hell of budget and a bureaucratic process to approve those things and to move forward. They can't achieve the goals in a right time. So the best way is to find out the business model, agree with private sector, give them chance, leverage their technology, deliver the results, make your citizens happy, make your customers happy, and move forward with it. I think that would be a message for our audience for today. Marcus, please tell us if we have more time. I think if Mohammed, you agree with me, we are almost done now.
Yes, we have about 8 minutes left, but perhaps we can give it some time for any questions to come in. Let's just give it some time. One more thing as well, I would like to just ask on your personal opinions as well, Waqas and Mohammad Shalan. We have quite a number of attendees from Pakistan and also the Asia region. Do you have any like trends or any advice you'd like to give on how they would like to kickstart their digital transformation journey within their respective organizations? Is there anything that you can think of on the top of your head? Just catered towards the Asian or Pakistan region, if you don't mind?
Maybe I can start with this because I have participated in a smart city actually conference for Africa. And what I see actually is every location is different. And that's, I have learned this actually out of my previous experience, because usually I used to run multinational projects all over the world actually. So every country is a special case. So this is very important to consider when you are doing. For example, when we are talking about smart cities in Africa, for example, we are thinking that there is some challenges, but in Africa there is a lot of good things to start a smart city there. Because, for example, you don't have burden of infrastructure, you don't have burden of a lot of regulations. So it's easy to have to start smart city in Africa. And also there is a lot of technopoles that's starting there, so that you can start and find this technopole will, after some time, will expand to be a smart city, and you will have a lot of technology, because people in these smart poles actually, on these technopoles, are working in technology. So they are very keen to utilize this technology into their homes, their offices, their living houses or living areas. So it's very important. So this is what I see, is that everyone in every location will see a lot of positive things that he can use. And the good thing actually is that about connectivity, as Waqas said, actually, we have the 5G connectivity or even the wireless connectivity. So you don't want to have like a big infrastructure or a very, very robust infrastructure to start your business. You can find whatever infrastructure that you have and build around it. And also think positive to find what are the kind of the issues that people have, because people, everyone in every location will have different challenges. And when you think there's a challenge for my neighbor, for example, then I'll take this challenge. I'll see what are the available technologies, what are the limitations that I have, and I'm sure that you can win, because this is happening everywhere and every location is different. So you need to be very positive and innovative. But of course, there is a lot of ideas. And the thing that I'm talking about digital transformation usually is that usually the big companies are eating the small companies. This is the typical what we see. In this area of digital transformation, sometimes you have small companies who are eating big companies. And when you have an innovative idea, you can take a good market share out of big company, and starting in like a few dollars, actually, you can start a business that's really taking care. And one example that's interesting actually is like for Gillette. Gillette is the shaving machines, big actually company for this. It's a giant for shaving machines. But there's one company in the United States came out of a few ideas. It's called Dollar Shave Club. And in 1 year, actually, they were able to like shave 9% out of Gillette revenues. So that's, they are coming, just a small company coming to do this. So don't think of yourself as a small or something like this. You have an ideas, you have challenges, and really you can win. And this is what I call also the gig economy, Waqas, is that everyone can be his own employer and his own innovator. You don't need to be employed by another one. So just tawakkal Allah and go. This is what I say. What do you think, Waqas?
Absolutely, Mohammed. You have rightly pointed out the things. Um, Pakistan is a big country. I mean, with 222 a million people living there. There are a lot of opportunities, guys, in Pakistan. You don't need to worry about the infrastructure. I mean, you can start with you see how the Telenor and all these companies launch Easy Paisa on the simple Nokia phones, not even the smartphones. So think what is around you. Try to be there. Don't think of a very highly luxury technologies. They are not afforded by anyone. Most of the people living in our countries are not affording those luxury technologies. So first of all, try to see what is around you. The more you will do the social innovation, the more it will be adopted by the people, and you will really get an ROI on top of it. So try to earn, in pennies or in pesos rather than going with rupees and these things. Once you will be scaling out, you will be, inshallah, earning a good amount of money. One more advice I will give to my country fellow men. Let me say that to Pakistanis. Um, Try to go with a platform business model. Pakistan have huge potential because of the bigger population. You can connect people from different point of view. If I would be there, maybe in Pakistan, I will be considering many kind of innovative businesses that I may launch. For example, um, in organic food, it's needed now and in the country, and we have a huge potential in the organic food business, connecting the farmer directly with the buyer. Um, this is one of the example. There are many other use cases. You can just figure it out around you. Don't jump into just for the e-commerce. E-commerce is there. It's there. I mean, you can find it out. Alibaba is there requiring Daraz.pk. So see, there are a lot of potential there. Just figure it out. How can you help the normal people to solve their business challenges? For example, um, issue in Pakistan for the insurance, especially claiming the insurance during the accidents. It's very difficult. Uh, in Saudi Arabia, it's a full platform available. There is a company called Najam. They can resolve your disputes easily. Think about it in Pakistan. You can do it. Figure it out. How can you move forward with such things? So there is a huge potential around you because of a populous country. People are aware. People are using social media. These are the tools. These are your weapons you can use to go with some innovative solutions around you. and many more ideas can be there, and I will be more than happy to, if someone need any guidelines, I'll be more than happy to share my experience and my knowledge about it. If there is any specific question on the chat, Marcus, I will be more than happy to answer those things.
Okay, let's just give it about a minute then for anyone to raise their hands. Or would anyone like to ask any questions? You can just type in the chat and raise your hand, and then yes, you can just ask your questions. So let's see.
So people are happy with our talks, and they are thinking now of what will be the next opportunity for them. That's beautiful, actually.
Correct. Okay, I guess yeah, there won't be any questions at the moment. So once again, I would like to thank Waqas and Mohammad Shalan. Thank you very much for your valuable insights. Definitely a lot of information taken in. Was an interesting discussion. Yes, Waqas, thank you again for joining us twice today. So we'll see you again soon. And Mohammad Shalan, I will see you tomorrow morning then for your session as well.
Yes,
awesome.
Thank you,
thank you very much to the both of you. And if there are any questions come in later or anything, I will direct it to the both of you as well, so you can help solve it then.
Please. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Waqas. And nice to
Okay.
meet with you. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Nice meeting you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.